Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, da doo-dah day.
This town needs an enema.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Thursday edition of Stupid O'Clock on the 20th of October. Hey Dan, how are you doing?
I'm getting by.
There's Rich and Bill. I guess some others will drop in sooner or later. We do have a HallowCon announcement. Due to some family issues, John Pica will not be there this year. So,
I hope everything's all right.
Yep.
There's a family issue. I'll fill you in.
Will be.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. Oh, hey Donna, and hi Dan. How are you doing? Glad you're in the chat room tonight, and saying hi to Carl also.
Yeah, I've got the iPad open so I can reply to some of the chats without being every channel that is Stupid O'Clock.
Yeah.
I wish I could do it on Last Man Standing, but it won't show me my own show. So,
Okay.
Hey, these things happen.
So yeah, I got to figure some stuff to do. John was a good 6 hours of programming.
Mm-hmm. Between breakfast, the Matchbox car race, his singing, and his
Magic
show. Yeah, he's going to be a hard act to follow. So
yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
And
Dan, I may draft you for a one of the panels that he was on.
Which panel would that be?
It would be the Twilight Zone reading.
I can do a reading.
It's reading a script. It's a table read.
It's been a long time since I've seen Twilight Zone, so I will improv my best.
Hey, no, I've got the scripts already printed.
I know. I mean the voices.
Just talk like Jack Webb, but you got to slow it down from 45 to 33 and a third, and then you'll have Rod Serling.
I can't do that. I can talk like Johnny Carson, but I can't talk like Jack Webb.
Yeah.
And I promise I will not try and talk like Robin Williams.
I don't think anybody can.
Now without chemical enhancement.
Yeah.
In other words, everyone will be grateful if I do not make the attempt.
Oh, but yeah, I'm sort of I mean, I've been so busy on show prep
Mm-hmm.
that I've not been show prepping for this show.
Well, I did get Lindsay to approve today which clothes rack she wants to take. Now, the only hang up is the dog that we are pet sitting is unfixed and in heat. Can we board a dog in heat? That is the question that is driving Lindsay crazy. She can't get a hold of the lady that we usually board pets with. So until we can actually get hold of her live, this question is going to remain one of the burning issues of the household.
Julius Brenner is saying something. I think they're complimenting Dan.
I'm just this old guy, you know. I'm used to that from Donna.
Well, here let me help you out a little bit, Dan. There.
That's probably more deserving of the honor.
Yeah.
I think if a boarding kennel would.
Julius might have meant the not the barcode. What is that thing?
The QR code.
QR code.
Yeah, the QR code is sexy. Okay.
Rob Brown says, I thought you guys were live. Took me a while to find you. Hi,
Yeah,
guys.
Michaela.
Hi, chat.
And
Hi,
Michaela.
Michaela.
Who said we're alive?
Oh, and
Last time
Rob,
I checked, I still had a pulse.
and Rob, I sent you an email. Oh, wow.
You got to take the pulse on the hand that doesn't have your watch on it, because I think you're just getting your watch.
I don't wear a watch.
We're just better animatronics than you find in the
Then
Hall
you're
of
in real
Presidents at Disney
trouble.
World.
Let's just say nobody's tried to collect on my insurance yet. So if I'm not live, I'm a perfectly grand imitation of probably Memorex, but you know. Tomorrow night. Oh, Lord. Michaela, what is this? Oh, let me do this. Tomorrow night, I start my day job. You got some splaining to do, Lucy.
Yeah, that means if you start your day job tomorrow night, that means you're going to miss the green room.
She's going to have a hard day's night.
She won't be able to attend the green room. She might not miss it.
No, she'd miss it.
I don't know of anybody
Everybody
that's
misses the green room.
I don't know of anybody that's ever actually experienced the green room that doesn't miss it.
After today, I'm
like
ready
that
for a green
much.
room.
Yep, I can well relate.
I'm ready for a padded room. To answer your question, Dan, I think that if they actually do agree to kennel or to keep your dog that's in heat, they would probably have to keep it separate from all the others. I mean, as far as not so much cage, but you know, I know they take them out for like exercise and that, and
or at least make sure that there was no males handy.
Exactly. We just want to make sure that the lady that does the boarding for us actually knows this. And the only reason the dog is not fixed, it's not ours. We're pet sitting. So the actual owners of the dog, they're going through some crises of their own, so they can't actually have the dog there. I mean, one reason we agreed to pet sit is because they were having to move from hotel to hotel, motel to motel, and a motel room is no place for a dog, especially one that is not lap dog size.
At least not long term, yeah.
Oh no.
If it's a
And
couple of nights, it's one thing, but any longer than that, then that's not fair to the dog. That's
yeah.
not fair to the hotel.
And this is a German Shepherd puppy, and she's absolutely
Ooh,
beautiful. She's absolutely just we're 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 trying to teach her don't jump up on people. We've already figured out when she needs to go outside. That took Lindsay just a day or two. It took me about 2 weeks, but
Oh, they'll
I
tell you when they've got to go outside. You just got to learn, speak their language.
yeah, you got to learn the code, and in this case, it's body language. She will whine a little bit and start going in circles. And for me, I've either got the door shut, I'm at work, or I'm in bed. So I didn't get to experience this firsthand until I got these days off, like I've got now. And finally
Mine,
figured it
mine will,
out.
mine will stand at the back door and start barking to the point you got to go see what's going on. And it's like, oh, great, you're up. Open the door. I got to go pee.
Yeah. Um, well, if there was a noise at the back door from past experience with other dogs, we either go, there's a cow that got away, there's deer out there, there's a coyote standing next to the dog pen, or the cats are being a little bit excitable for no reason, or raccoon or possum has climbed in to hunt for stray bits and pieces of cat food.
Well, and Big White Dog, you've seen the pictures of her.
Oh man, I have just seen a excuse me, but there was a lady in Canada, very very beautiful lady that had a. She's got her own little cabin there, primitive camping setup. She's building a cabin, all this by herself. She has a horse-sized big white dog, just like yours, and another looks like full German Shepherd crossed with a Rottweiler. I mean, fucking
Yeah,
horse-sized dog. Excuse me. That
yeah,
blows our cover for this week.
yeah,
Um, anyway, two big dogs, very big dogs,
yeah,
but one solid white and one German Shepherd looking mix, but they are huge
yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, Big White Dog, she knows how to open doors, round doorknobs. She can manipulate round doorknobs. I mean, I can hear her starting to open my door, and she'll walk in and she'll look at me and she'll duck her head down and look up at me like, okay. If I ignore her, she barks.
I know I did something wrong. Shout!
No, it's the she comes in and looks at me like, hey, you know what time it is? You know what time it is? Then it's that huge dog bark right here that makes you jump out of the chair, and it's like, okay, I have your attention. I've got to go out now.
There was another a couple that are building a cabin on the side of a cliff overlooking a lake, a rather large lake,
here.
and one of their dogs can actually go up and open the sliding glass door to go in. Now, I assume it was unlatched at the time, but still, watching a dog walk up to a door you see is shut and going out of the way and walk through and then close the door behind it. How do you train a dog to do that?
I would love to train my dogs to close the door behind them. Yeah, but Big White Dog, we had to
Why'd you
use
train my children and close the door behind them?
Really, I've had teenagers I couldn't train to close a door.
Now I wish we had, well, with our dog, Big White Dog, we had to actually use the deadbolts because she knew how to open doors.
Hmm.
And if she couldn't go outside, she'd open the door and go outside. And they go visit the neighborhood.
Much to the neighborhood's shock and surprise, probably. Well, not surprise after a while. It's a damn big white dog again.
Most of them had my phone number on speed dial.
Lock up your daughter's time, yeah.
Yeah. Your dog's out again. Yeah, we know. I mean, it got to the point that when she'd go out, it's like, okay, she'll be back in about an hour and a half. About an hour and a half, she'd come back home.
It's not like our oldest cat that when she gets disappeared, we have to worry whether or not she's going to come back dragging a cow. I mean, cat, cow. The deer are afraid. Hell, the coyotes are afraid of her.
I was already asked, is that the one that's afraid of that scares the hell out of the coyotes?
Yeah, they pray she never comes out of the dog pen.
Oh.
But
So I got a question for all you dog owners. Okay, they have the shock collars that you can put on a dog, and once it gets so far away, you can hit the button to bring them back. They have the fences, the invisible fences that you can put out.
a wire
But-
buried in the ground that triggers the collar. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, my little sister's neighbor has a big, huge mastiff named Maggie, and she walks just down the road and back up, and that's just her thing. She's like 8, 9 years old. She doesn't move too fast, but she's huge, looks like a hellhound, very scary, but she's just not that at all. But one of the not so nice neighbors complained. So the owner bought one of those invisible fences that you bury in the ground. Now the dog is just deathly frightened to even go outside because of that. That whole thing has to, now she used to have one of those little shock collars for her, and I would hear her holler for her when I lived across the street, and I could tell if Maggie come running back, I knew she hit the little button. And all she got to do is tap it, just a gentle little reminder. But I'm wondering if they make a version, and if not, they should. So I don't have this patented or anything, but if they make a version of the shock collar to where if it goes so many 100 feet or yards away, whatever, that it will automatically set off the shock mechanism in it for them to make the dog turn back.
I do not know that. I know that if they get close to the invisible fence buried wire thing, yes. But if you can find something that gets X number of feet away from the transmitter, it will automatically set off the collar. I don't know if that's possible. Probably possible. I don't know if it's affordable.
They've got
I
a
was gonna
wireless
say-
system now.
Probably possible, more than likely possible. Not sure if there's an item for it on the market. Not sure if it's something anyone feels is profitable, therefore not on the market. There might be a sensitivity level for the collar and the invisible fence because, yeah, you have to have it so that the dog is afraid to go so far towards the edge of the yard. So if they have a very small area roped off, it might be why the dog's afraid to go outside because the sensitivity of the collar might be triggering at the door instead of at the edge of the yard because they might have buried the wire too close or something like that.
Yep.
That's
And
all
her
I
yard-
can think of.
Well, now they've got a wireless system that, see, the buried wire starts beeping till you get to a certain point, but when you cross it, it gives them the zap and then beeps for a few feet, and then they're free to go. That's the problem we have with Big White Dog. You could see her when the urge hit her to go. She would sit there and she would weave back and forth, and then just do a full sprint, do a yelp as she crossed. So we had to go to a wireless system. What it would do is when they got to a certain point and it started to lose signal, it would beep. And when it completely lost signal, it would zap every second until they
That's
got
exactly
back
what
into
Bill was
range.
asking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's a wireless system.
One of my next door neighbors found a way around that. He just put up an electric fence all the way around his yard. Doesn't stop my cats, but it does stop the deer and any tall dogs, or at least those that would be deterred by an actual electric fence.
Now, this was back when the invisible fences first came out. I was looking at it at Walmart, the do-it-yourself kit, and this lady came up to me and she goes, "Are you really considering buying that?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Would you strap that around your kid's neck?" And I said, "Lady, if you knew my kids, you'd hold them down while I strapped it on."
Hmm. Then there's my other neighbor, which
I would have
strap
answered
around
if
their
CPS will let me.
Not going to go there. Not the green room. You get the idea.
Oh,
Well, at the moment, I am testing out different alternatives to the Salon Pass patch so that I can drive 3 hours without being in acute pain. So far, there is one that shows great promise, but the adhesive qualities of the patch leave much to be desired. And there is a roll-on that is working wonders on the unpatchable pain points.
Stop pain.
Yep. That's either I need to buy a pain patch that goes from ankle to hip, or I make do with something over the pain trigger, and then the roll on for the outlying areas. And for the last 48 hours, I've been trying this stuff out, and it's working. The only drawback is that the one that relieves the pain the best, the adhesive is crap.
Have you tried the Salon Pass capsaicin one?
Not yet. That is one of the next things on my list. I have not tried the Icy Hot or the Salon Pass capsaicin.
Misty and I have had good success with the capsaicin, but again, your pain may vary. Your mileage will vary. And if it's a nerve pain, I don't know how well it will translate to the nerve pain.
Well, with this, it's on a scale of 1 to 10. This is about a 23. So I'm actually doing really well. I mean, with this leftover from the shingles nerve damage, I was at a loss. I was really at a loss. I was trying to find an alternative to taking handfuls of over-the-counter pills because I do not want meds I can get addicted to. I do not want that at all. I've seen too many people ruin their lives with, oh, this takes the pain away. Oh, well, let me pop 2 or 3 more. Oh, let me pop 5 or 6 more. No, no. Um, I don't want any of that at all. And I don't want to ruin my kidneys or my liver with the over the counter stuff. So the skin applied uh, painkillers are my only alternative, really. And so far, the ones with lidocaine work really well, especially the 24-hour version. Uh, it doesn't work so well in the first 8 hours, but for the rest of the 24, pain free. And now
Interesting.
getting to the point to where I can handle sitting in the driver's seat of a car for 3 hours, which is the goal for next week. Experiments are still underway, but results are promising. But this roll-on stuff, for all the peripheral things in the part that is not the actual epicenter of the pain, my God, that works for over 48 hours. It's not supposed to, but it does. So I'm going to buy stock in that company.
What and Salon Pass? Is that what you said it is?
Salon Pass is what I was used to.
Yeah,
Even the great big ones, because this
yeah.
is in my hip. Um, the adhesive is great. The pain killing is less than what is advertised, but I figure that's just because the nerve damage is severe, and my body is going, this is nice, but it's like chucking bricks in the Grand Canyon. Um, now there's a Aspercreme with lidocaine patch. Hate the adhesive. Patch works real well for pain, but it won't stay stuck to where you put it. The Tiger Balm one works great for pain. Will not stay stuck. And I mean, it sticks to everything except the skin, basically.
Uh-huh.
So you have to go to the restroom. You're going to have to reapply that patch or get another one long before it's.
Run out of time.
Yeah, exactly. Before it's supposed to wear off. I mean, you're throwing away perfectly good patches just because they won't stick to your butt.
Have you tried the Voltaren cream?
Have not tried Voltaren yet. No.
That stuff is wonderful.
So far, um, the Aspercreme roll-on is the greatest thing since Betty White.
Okay. Aspercreme has a roll on. Okay, you got to write that down.
And it soaks into your skin really quickly, so you don't have to worry about getting it on the inside of your clothes. And it does not have a scent whatsoever, at least the one that I bought. Voltaren is on the list of other things to try.
I just realized this segment of the show is tell people we're old without telling people we're old.
Really. And Carl, ace bandages? Seriously? You know how long it takes to undo an ace bandage when you're my age and you've had tacos and burritos for supper? Not gonna happen. Nope. Yeah, but then you have to throw them away.
Bill, get out of my head. And if you're going to stay there, stay away from the green filing cabinet.
Don't
Well, if your state wasn't so backwards, I would say the CBD cream. I have so many
believe me, I had great results on my arthritis from the CBD oil drops, and I gave that up because news came out. They consider that, even though it doesn't have any THC in it whatsoever, to still be on the narcotics list of controlled substances. So rather than lose my job and whatever, I quit buying the stuff.
Not anymore. Biden did away with all that.
Not in Georgia, he didn't.
We're going to be hemp, or not hemp free, but free of any restraints from hemp. But everything has THC. I mean, as far as like CBD stuff, the hemp vana and all that, it's the amount, the percentage of CBD to THC. So
not in Georgia. Not with the company I work for. They would fire me for seeing the bottle.
Yeah. Wait till you retire.
They wouldn't even have to give me a drug test, which I would pass. And they wouldn't care if I've got anything with any sort of hemp content whatsoever. I've got a hat I can't wear to work. I lose $50,000 a year.
We're talking about something medicinal and not paraphernalia, though. That's what I'm saying. Now, if they ever get to where they do that,
they don't see a difference,
Carl. Bill, they don't see any damn difference whatsoever. If it's CBD, it's illegal.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
well,
what
like I say, wait until after you retire and then do what you want.
Well, yeah, that's the plan.
I'm thinking late February of 2024. Dan's going for the edibles.
Edibles, hell.
I would gladly send them some of mine right now, or even the pill. Well, the pills where they work pretty good. They're not that good. Hey. Which is weird because it's a 3-to-1 ratio on the pills compared to the others. But for me, and I think with everybody it's a little bit different, but my arthritis in my knees, because I'm bone on bone, and then now on this thumb right here too, which is the same thing that Laura went through, and of course she had it all, that arthritis just shaved off, which made her thumb about this much shorter than the other one, but she's pain free now on that. But I'll tell you, I put that, well, it's a balm, not a cream, but they do have both. I put that on my thumb just a little bit, rub it in, and I mean to tell you, it's the pain goes away so quick, you're not really thinking about it. I'll put it on, and then I'll go to do something, and then if I get a text saying, hey, is your thumb feeling any better? I'm like, oh yeah, it's not hurting anymore. I didn't realize that. It's just that smooth.
What thumb?
And that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Pizza Man, I've really
worked real good.
I've really got to take not offense, but I've got to question that. Although I have no experience with edibles, they might be sort of like the brownies of yore and much fame. But
they have different ones for every. I had a friend of mine who had cancer, and he died from it. But he had the edibles, the gummies, and that kept him not pain-free, but stable.
Pain controlled.
And yeah, the last time I saw Glenn was at a 4th of July party, and it was a cookout. And just the fact that he was actually ever able to go to that cookout was because he had the gummies.
Well, if Georgia ever becomes run by sane people, the family has a 68-acre farm.
So let me ask you this. If you go across state line in any direction, is it legal?
Might be in a few directions. I don't know, but
Okay, I don't either.
I don't live across those state lines, so anytime I came back, I would still be under the
Ouch.
penalties imposed for
Well,
being under the influence. And considering it takes about 3 weeks for the actual THC stuff to wear off, if you have just a teeny tiny bit, it's the same reason I gave up being a irresponsible teenager in my 40s. It was just, I had too much to lose. So I'd rather keep everything on up and up and as legal as possible, rather than risk a very early retirement with no retirement funding allowed. So rather than lose
like
everything,
Joe Dog said,
February 2024. Watch out,
2024.
world.
Yeah.
You have been notified. It's really weird. The executives of the company can have a 4-martini lunch, but I can't burn one at home.
Yeah, Carl right there. My job's demanded total sobriety at all times. I couldn't have gin or vodka at work, which is why I retired early.
The closest
I was going to say,
parallel,
maybe
Carl,
he was absent a lot.
the closest parallel, Carl, would be if your job demanded that you couldn't even have a gin and tonic at home. Ever.
I keep forgetting that Illinois has legalized marijuana. Here in Indiana, it's still verboten unless it's medical type of stuff. So, a couple minutes north to Michigan, perfectly legal. Half hour, west to Illinois, perfectly legal. But I'm driving into work today. I actually had to go into the office instead of being able to work from home. And the highway was at a complete standstill. Someone was burning one so potent, I could smell it in my car with my windows up.
That's some good stuff.
It smelled like
I
pitch weed.
remember they were burning it up in Chicago, and they said that people were getting high, like, I forget how many miles away from just the smoke.
Well,
guys.
This is Roman Red. Everybody, Lindis.
Well, we actually got in trouble with the EPA and the wildlife groups. The city of Chattanooga burned a bunch of pot a few years back, just as a flock of Turin flew over. We were known as the city that had left not one Turin unstoned.
Yep. Like I said, One day the state of Georgia will be governed by reasonable adults. Right now, it's a bunch of Bible Belt holy rollers, still in power after all this time and still wishing they could bring back slavery so they had somebody they could lord it over. Right now, they don't have anybody they can lord. Well, no, they do have immigrants they can lord it over. It takes so long.
So
This is such a backward place.
here's Dan right now in October of 2022. Pretty reasonable gentleman here and that. Now we fast forward to February of 2024. And there's Dan now. All the effects of the evil CBD. What have they done to you, Dan?
No, Bill. It would basically be Bob Ross the entire time. I mean, I'm so naturally laid back. Anything that I would consent to partake of would just make me even more laid back, not ridiculous.
Bill, do you know what Bob Ross's job was before he started doing the painting?
I think I heard it, but I forgot. Remind me.
He was a retired Air Force drill sergeant. They said he was the hardest ass you've ever dealt with as a DI.
He wanted you to get it right or else.
Yeah. And they said a lot of people that, everyone that, he was the DI for respected him. But when they started watching him on the PBS going, little happy trees, think of a story about of why the tree grew in this direction.
Alaska broke him.
No. I would say Alaska healed him.
Well,
hey, I'm just guessing. I don't know anything about his private life.
He wasn't a private, he was a drill sergeant.
Sometimes you have to have the break for you to heal, though. Because when he was up in Alaska, it became just a lot of monotony, and he started painting, and he got so much relaxation from it that he's like, why be that way anymore?
Kind of like me with a period in my writing. It was therapy. I had suffered a traumatic loss and threw myself into my writing in order to keep from becoming a vegetable, and it worked. However, I do still have moments of zucchini-ness, but no. Finished a novel, turned it in. Was widely well received for the small audience that it had. I wouldn't say overcame the pain of loss, but it shortened the grieving period, or at least made it easier to bear. That's probably more accurate.
Yeah, because do you ever really stop grieving somebody? Today would have been my brother's 59th birthday, and I lost him 11 years ago. And I went with Jenny today to Covered Bridge Festival, and we had a pretty decent time, and the weather was decent, and the autumn colors and the Amish and covered bridges and all that stuff was wonderful. And it helped me take my mind off of things for a little while, but it's always there when you come back. It's always there.
Well, Bill, I can say that after a while, when you personally have come to grips with it, other people bringing it up again time after time after time is rather upsetting. It's like I've done this. It's gone. It's over. I've grieved. I've moved
Mm.
on. Please stop holding it up like it was some kind of holy grail that other people are supposed to attain. Just shut up.
Let it go.
Yeah, really. This is
Stop poking the wound.
yeah, this is the past. The Quit ripping the scars open again.
Now, see, I don't mind people talking about my brother, and particularly if it's a good story or whatever, or something that he said or did was funny, which my brother was really kind of out there compared to me. But
I don't know, Bill. You're
it's
you're you're so out
story.
there. You don't get the Saturday Night Grand Ole Opera until Thursday afternoon,
Well,
and that's a compliment.
I was just about the polar opposite of my brother growing up. And although my brother was 15 months younger than me, I was always known as Val's brother. I was not Bill or Billy or, whatever. I was all, hey, look, there's Val's brother. And that used to annoy me to no end. And over the years, I got, because, of course, you gain everybody knew my brother because he was a mechanic and he was a big time into Mopar and racing and everything else. And that was everything he loved to do. People were always going to him to have something fixed on their car or to ask a question about, hey, I got this going on with the Chevy Nova and blah, 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 whatever. But I actually gained a lot of friends because of my brother, and then that became not so bad. If you're going to talk to me about his last days or make me talk about how I was holding his hand when he finally passed away after they took the ventilator out, that will get me.
Russian
That will
bots are
get me
back.
big time. Oh boy.
They must be draft dodgers.
Free
I took
girls in
care
your
of 'em.
city, Joe.
I took care of them.
I saw
In-
that. Thank you.
In
Thank you.
my family, we strive for don't remember those who've gone before in the worst parts. Remember them in love, laughter, light, which is why I tell the stupid, wacky stories about my mom. Which is why I tell the stupid, wacky stories about Pop.
Yeah,
It's remembering them and being able to smile and laugh instead of just bleed.
that's the closest thing I can get to that is remembering my dad from before the Alzheimer's, not during. Still the same perfectly charming gentleman that he was. Still the influence that made me who I am today. But let go of the tragedy. Just remember the good times.
My
Because that's
grandma
all you
Elliot.
got left.
Yeah, my grandma Elliot was a riot. She was my mom's mom. Her dad, or sorry, my mom's mom passed away. So my mom's dad married my dad's mom's sister. That's how my parents met. My parents actually met when they were 5 and 6 years old, and my dad knew the moment he saw my mother he was going to marry her. But my grandma Elliot, so my mom's mom, the two most important lessons in my life are from her. You can't have good times without the bad times. Otherwise, it's just time. There has to be a balance. You got to have good to have bad, and you got to have bad to have good. And the darker those bad times are, the sweeter the good times are, both in memory and when they come back. And the most important thing that she ever taught me was a smile and laughter is the best gift you can give another living being. Never the wrong color, never the wrong size, never the wrong style. And for one brief moment, you've made someone's life better.
Mm.
And I actually became an addict to that. I have received a bigger high making people laugh than the drugs I've tried when I was younger.
Very insightful.
Well,
Thank you.
yeah,
No, totally agree.
I think, yeah, you gotta go through bad times if you want to learn. I mean, somebody says, well, why didn't God take away all the hurt and the pain and the killing and all that? Well, because it's brought into your life for a lesson, and it, to get you through it, and that's so that you can learn how to deal with it a little bit more better later on.
Mhm.
That's my thing with grieving. I don't think that a person ever stops grieving. I'm not going to say, oh, you need to grieve for the rest of your life, or any more than somebody's going to tell me you just need to suck it up and stop grieving. But for me, it's learning how to deal with the grieving.
Yeah.
And if it stops someday, that's wonderful. As far as the grieving part,
Mhm.
if it doesn't, but I'm able to deal with it, like dealing with arthritis or something like that, you know what you got to do for arthritis, and then that's good, because then you're not just giving in to something, and then that can go south pretty quick.
Yeah, and everybody handles things not in a different way, but on a different schedule, basically. Um, Things can be earth-shattering one day and almost bearable the next, and 6 months from then bearable, and then 6 more months, and all you've got is the good memories. You don't have
It's a roller coaster.
you haven't forgotten the bad memories. You've just decided that they're not important anymore. Just put them aside and then go on from there on that basis. Which sounds like a George Carlin routine, actually, but
It's a roller coaster. There's days that everything is
yeah.
fine, and then there's other days that you wake up and you just want to curl up and and cry because of missing them so fiercely. I mean, mom passed away 8 years ago, and there's days that I'll be fine most of the day, and then suddenly around like 2 o'clock or whatever, some random time throughout the day, it just feels like someone drove a spike through my heart when I think about my mom. And
Yep.
the same thing happens with dad. Dad is a lot more recent, so it's a lot sharper.
I'd like to address Ace's comment, Ace's comment here. Didn't see him in his last days. Glad I didn't close my eyes and see him in his better days.
Yeah.
Yep. There comes a point in the grieving process, and it's different from everybody, that the pain gets set to one side, and you're able to focus on all the good things rather than the last days or the last moments or that they're gone. And the nice thing about that is there's so much more that was worth remembering than the trauma that you had to survive from the loss. It's I'm probably not saying that right. There's probably a better way to say that, but it's that's the best I can get to it right now.
The trauma and the hard times is what temper us so that we don't shatter when something truly horrific enters our life.
It's one of those makes you stronger situations.
Yeah.
But without the preamble to that, because the preamble is individual. It's not generic. It's personal to you.
Tailored.
Yep. Exactly. But part of being alive is loss and pain and, I hate to say it, suffering. But from that, you come out the other end with a greater appreciation of what you had before, what was, and sometimes you can glean more life lessons from that than from the actual loss. Not sure exactly how to conclude that statement, but I hate to say you got to go through it before you understand it, because you don't. You can understand it
Sometimes
on behalf of
tragedy will open
somebody
your
else.
eyes to the greater beauty that's around us that we have missed for so long, we've taken granted for so long.
That's a great way of putting it, Rich. That is a great way of putting it. And Carl, yeah, it might be just a variation of coping mechanisms, yeah. But into every life a little rain must fall, and sometimes it's a freaking monsoon. Depends on it, on your own personal circumstances. Not trying to belittle anybody's history.
All right, now
But,
that we've brought everybody down with this conversation, how about some dick jokes?
Hey,
I don't
Carl, how did we do on
Tell
the
us some
humility
jokes.
meter?
Crap, that is my name. So two guys walk to a bar, the third one ducks.
And what did the duck say?
Put it on my bill.
Aren't you glad I warned you about the damn bar? Michaela's schoolgirl skirt. I'm not sure this
She
is that
better
kind
give
of
it
channel,
back to
Carl.
that schoolgirl. That schoolgirl's going to miss it.
I kind of want to make sure I'm still married in the morning.
Okay, now you've called for it. I'm going to tell you one of my stupid uncle jokes. It's probably one you heard, maybe, I don't know. So my Uncle Bernie and my Aunt Edna used to fight all the time. And she'd say, Bernie, I can't wait until you're dead and gone. This is a great joke to have considering what we've just been talking about. And he says, don't even bother with me. And she goes, no, I mean it. I'm going to dance on your grave when you're dead. He says, go ahead. I'm going to be buried at sea. But
Oh,
So
yeah. Sorry. This turned into a serious discussion. We usually don't go in this direction.
So a
But
fun
Carl
story
never
about
did
my
tell
mom.
us.
Carl never told us what.
Carl,
No, I said Carl never did tell us what we did on the humility meter earlier.
Ah, but
let's not check. That thing usually registers low.
fun story about my mom. So being called Richard, I immediately tense up. My father and I both would immediately tense up if someone said Richard, because all of a sudden we're like, what did we screw up? What did we do wrong? And whenever mom was happy with me, I was Rich or Richie. Whenever she was happy with dad, he was Dick. Whenever she was mad at either one of us, it was Richard. And dad and I just had to sit there and look at each other like, what did you do? I didn't do anything. What did you do? I'm not admitting to anything. So we'd have to sit there. Richard David. And of course, every time she starts over, she's just getting more and more pissed. 5'1" of pure Irish fury. Richard David Asplin. Still, dad and I are sitting there like, just start with the senior and the junior so we know who's in trouble. And then she'd get to senior or junior, and whoever wasn't in trouble would look at the other one and be like, sucker, and run.
Yeah,
And
really.
we'd be like, Mom, why don't you start off with senior or junior? We know who's in trouble. We can come running. Are you trying to tell me how to be pissed off? No, man. I wish I was making this bed up. If my mom said Richard, our dogs and cats would slowly get up and slowly slink out of the room to not attract their attention, because she would start yelling at anyone and anything when she was mad. She could be mad at my sister Sheila. I could walk by her peripheral vision and all of a sudden I get the tirade.
I'm thinking she was probably pissed at one of you when she called you Dick.
I know that was what my dad's family grew up calling my dad was Dick. So.
Oh wow.
And hi Keisha, and congratulations are in order for Keisha.
Oh, hi, Keisha.
Hello, Keisha.
There's going to be a new pumpkin in the patch down in Varna, Illinois. She's pregnant.
I was about to say, is someone going to find something in the Cabbage Patch?
Well, if you would have seen the picture that she posted.
I saw that post and I go, I'm going to wait for clarification before I say anything.
Well, as soon as you saw the one pumpkin with the little pumpkin inside, that should have gave it away.
One would think, but I'm still clueless. So apparently I'm not as perceptive as I used to give myself credit for.
You're just going to have to start playing Clue a little bit more often.
As long as Tim Curry is in there, yeah, I can do that.
Fuck.
Okay, that's clarification enough.
No.
Thank you, Keisha.
For some reason,
Congratulations.
all of a sudden, my browser has decided I am Spanish.
Okay.
Everything is in Spanish. Facebook, Amazon.
Okay.
Damn, what was it?
That's what you get for looking at Taco Bell menus online.
Verb.
I used to know how to say there's cottage cheese in my pants in Spanish, just to freak people out, and I don't remember how to say it anymore. Damn it!
My hovercraft is full of eels.
First time I ever heard it called a hovercraft before. But
Tough room. No Monty Python fans.
yeah.
Well, where can we go from here? Almost anywhere, apparently.
To hell if we don't change our ways.
Well, Keisha, congratulations. You have been wanting to have another baby for quite some time, and I'm very glad that it worked out this way. Please pay attention to your health. We want the both of you, as well as the rest of your family, to be happy and healthy for the rest of your lives.
Well, the picture was very, very cute.
Screen? I keep hearing somebody heckling me in the background.
Heckle, heckle, heckle.
It might be that goldfish off of the Y-Files videos. I don't know. He seems to get around.
Okay.
No, I'm hearing a fan or something that might sound like somebody like.
It's about
Garble.
time you had some fans.
Yeah. I got one right here on the floor below me, but it's been too cold to use it. Although Sunday we're supposed to be up to 80 degrees. Of course, thunderstorms and 40-mile-an-hour winds too. But
We're
take
supposed
what
to
you
get
can
down. We're supposed to get down to a dangerous level of frost this week. And
I heard.
Is that David Frost or somebody I haven't heard of before?
Jack Frost.
Him I've heard of before. Now
Jack
imagine
Frost
if he did.
nipping at your nose.
As voiced by
Imagine
Fred
if he
Astaire.
got tired of doing all the paisley patterns on windows and decided to do, I don't know, 5 dogs at a poker table or something on your window.
Florida and Mississippi is getting zonked too with the frost and freezes.
We shall see. We shall see.
Florida's getting freeze, so hell is actually finally freezing over.
No, the Eagles did another concert. It froze over. What was it? Late 80s, early 90s.
I'm so glad my mother-in-law and father-in-law don't
Early
watch the show.
2000s. There you go.
Yeah, and then it thawed out again, and everybody broke up, like they did back in 1980 after the Long Run album.
Well, you remember what Neil Sedaka said?
I know he wrote that or came out with that song the year I was born. The fast version of it, not the slow version.
Well, yeah. I like the fact that he mixed the slow version in before the fast version. Oh, no. The fast version in before the slow version.
Right.
Duh.
And he talked about marijuana in it, too.
No,
I don't know what
don't
the
remember.
marijuana references were for. You don't remember that? Down doobie doo down down.
You kids and your marijuana.
Evidently, Bill ain't discovered the Doobie Brothers yet.
Oh, I did. South City Midnight Lady. That's one of my favorite songs of theirs.
Oh, I just recently found out that Lindsay cannot stand Oh, bugger.
She
You don't
stand
like
being mother?
boogers?
No. Oh, bugger. I'm blanking on the name of the band and the song, but um, long cool woman in a black dress.
Oh,
The
the
Hollies.
The
Hollies?
Hollies.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
She cannot stand that song, and I'm going, honey, I love that. How am I supposed to give that up? She goes, just don't play it when I can hear it. And I'm going, gonna wear up my headphones.
Well, this is what Lindsay said. She said, "Oh, I tried and I tried and I tried, but I can't stand the Hollies." Which is actually, I love their version of "I Can't Let Go," or that may be the original. I know
I
Linda Ronstadt did a version of it, but theirs
I
was
cannot tell you.
wonderful.
I cannot tell you, really. Um, the last thing I saw Linda Ronstadt in was a recording of a concert by Randy Newman, and Ry Cooder was there as a guest guitar player. And some of the audience were more excited about Ry Cooder being there than they were Randy Newman, and Randy got pissed. I mean, it's like, it's my concert. He's here, okay? And hey, it was a really good, and you can probably find it on YouTube. Uh, More than likely, you can. Hopefully, without a surplusage of commercials, but it's hard to get away from those
Well,
nowadays.
with Ry Cooder being alive and Linda Ronstadt still singing, I would have to say that had been a while back.
It was probably early 2000s because um, Randy Newman had already had most of his hits that were on MTV in the 90s, and not much else that he's done since then has made a big impact on radio because, you know, MTV now shows wrestling and Star Trek reruns instead of actual music videos. I wouldn't know. I haven't had access to MTV in 15 years. So.
Well, Randy Newman did one song since all that time that really catapulted him, and that's from Toy Story.
You got a friend in
Got
me.
a friend in me. Yes, and he
Sorry, my
probably
brain
is
went
still.
immediately to short people got no reason to.
Shut up.
I had that 45.
That's one of the 80s and 90s hits that catapulted his career. That and
I play that for my
I-
wife all the time to piss her off.
I love L.A. Yes, try playing her Political Science 101. I love that one. There's another one I love that I will not name, but because
Well,
it has elements objectionable to today's cultural bent, and it is bent, if not twisted. But
would the group be Ram Jam?
Black Betty? Don't know
Yeah.
about that.
Which is so weird that people get offended by that song when actually the song was originally done by, it was a blues song
Mm-hmm.
done by a black artist. But I got backtracked here for a second though, before we get too far ahead. Yeah. Thank you, Robin.
I'm not hitting the
Anyway,
rewind on that.
yeah. So Lindsay cannot stand the Hollies, but she loves the Beatles.
No, she loves He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. She
Yeah.
cannot stand Long Cool Woman.
Well,
It totally,
Mm.
it's just one of those
That,
things.
yeah, that's okay for one song or whatever. I thought you meant that the group in general she couldn't stand.
No, just that one song. Just that one song.
There is
Uh,
one artist I can't. I mean, I'll change the radio if his songs come on, and it's gonna make me in public enemy number one when I say this.
oh, come on. Pat Boone will
James
forgive you.
James Cagney?
Tom Petty.
Oh, Tom Petty?
Really? You don't like Tom Petty?
No, there's
No.
just
Don't come around here no more.
Is there
Sorry.
is there a reason, or is it just a reaction to his voice?
his voice.
Okay.
And the funny thing
But
is, today is his birthday.
Makes it even
And-
worse.
So then you must hate Bob Dylan and Roger McGuinn from the Byrds too, because that's who Tom Petty is emulating in every song he's ever done.
Oh, I know.
No. I know people that absolutely love Bruce Springsteen's music but can't stand his voice.
It's Tom Petty's voice that just nails
Yeah,
on the
well-
chalkboard.
Yeah. And people definitely have a right to their likes and dislikes for that exact reason. If somebody's voice is just an irritant, no matter how good the song is, they have a right to not enjoy that artist.
Tom Petty was running down a dream while Joe McKeel was trying to run down Tom Petty.
Yeah. It's just his
Oh.
voice that just, like I said, nails on the chalkboard.
Mhm.
I take offense to more than 3 Beatles songs in a row.
Oh, Bill gonna go off now.
Well, WCKG used to do their Beatles week where they played nothing but Beatles, but it was the same 5 freaking songs.
Yes, like
And I
lots
was
of-
trapped in a grocery store overnight stocking groceries. STOCKING, not STALKING. I'm not going. Where's Mrs. Butterworth at? That's even too weird for me. But my manager wouldn't let us play anything.
Save
but
that for a
freaking
story.
WCKG.
Save that for a story.
What, the stalking Mrs. Butterworth?
Yeah.
Peanut butter is in aisle 7.
For now.
Oh, dear Lord.
I'll meet you there.
Things are actually forming though, so
So what Beatles songs do you hate?
no, it's
No.
I'm fine
He
with
hates
Beatles
the
songs. I
infinite
can't stand.
repetition of a limited number.
I
Oh.
can't stand it. If you play 3 Beatles songs, I'm fine. When you get to the 4th, I start getting twitchy. When you hit number 5, and this is in a row. So if you do like 3 Beatles songs, a couple of other songs, a couple more Beatles songs, I'm fine. But once we get to once we get to the 4th, 5th, and 6th Beatles songs, I start getting really twitchy and looking for the emergency exit.
Okay, so I just have one Beatles song for you to listen to. It's rather long, and it's called Revolution Number 9. If anything will send you over the edge, is that.
Block that Nixon. Block that Nixon. Block that Nixon.
I can handle, Beatles, just not too long, and especially if it's "She Loves You," "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and "Strawberry Fields Forever." After you get to the back end of that 3, then it's like, oh dear God, the next one is going to be Hard Day's Night, and I'm going to start twitching.
Doom,
Yeah.
doom, 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 doom.
But I mean, again, and any 3 in a row, I'm fine. But if it's those specific 3 in a row, I'm like, oh dear God, I know what's next, and I start looking for the exit. I'm trapped, in
Well,
1993 again.
That's the
Oh,
problem
Carl.
with crappy radio stations that you should just not listen to, and listen to like album rock stations and hear the good stuff. So like if they're playing Penny Lane, when
Is
they,
one of my favorites.
yeah, I mean, there's a
Hmm.
alternative ending to it that is rather wonderful, and you never hear it anywhere. But our WKIO 105.9 FM out of Champaign, Illinois, will play it consistently. But the one that I love that they play, the alternative ending, is on A Day in the Life. Yes, they will play through the whole sustaining last piano note
Mhm.
of the song,
The endless chorus.
and then you hear it stop, and then you hear dead silence. And then it comes back to, I mean, it's all the backwards talking and singing and music playing that they did on the alternative ending. And I mean, every time they play Day in the Life, they play that. And I'm thinking somebody's going to hear that for the first time and say, what the hell did I just hear? That's some of their equipment screw up or what, but that was just the Fab Four screwing around.
Yeah,
And George
it's
Martin,
the same
too.
with some of the tracks on the White Album where they end with what amounts to backwards masking and forwards masking, and it's all just several things mixed together that shouldn't make sense, but in a certain state of mind, they make perfect sense temporarily. Temporarily, and until
If you consume the right mushrooms.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of backwards tracking was done in a lot of the songs that you didn't know that that's what was done. You knew something was being done, but you didn't know that was it for then, because that was really high tech for back in the mid-late 60s.
Really?
And
Somebody had
of
to
course,
stand there with a reel-to-reel tape recorder and spin it backwards.
and Lord knows
Isn't this
Magic
where
Alex
he
didn't
came in?
invent that. Although Magic Alex wanted to invent the revolving rhythm guitar and bass guitar by spinning the neck around.
Oh, you don't mean the ZZ Top performance effect. You mean something else entirely, don't you?
Yes, and if you watched the Get Back documentary on Disney Plus, you would have actually seen it, because all the Beatles were making fun of it. It looked like a homemade guitar, and you have the neck on it, and then your tuning pegs, and there's an enormous amount of tuning pegs on both sides at the top, because the whole neck would spin around, and here you have a 6-string electric guitar, and you could spin it around again, and then you have a 4-string bass. And this was the crap that Magic Alex was coming up with for the Beatles, and of course eventually they just kind of wrote them off altogether. I mean, they gave them a chance with Apple like they did with everybody else, but
I do believe you have to spin more than the neck around to get that effect. You have to flip the entire guitar.
yeah, the middle section, everything all spun around. Go back and rewatch it, and I can't remember which part it was on. I'm wanting to say the second part of it, but
I'm sorry, Bill.
it was
I lived
ridiculous.
Through it, I'm not going to go back and watch it. I mean, seriously. Next Door Neighbor Girls, when I was teeny tiny, had I Want to Hold Your Hand was one of the 45s that they had. I lived through the entire thing. My mom could sing along with every Beatles song that was ever written on that showed up on 60s radio, and I didn't know who they were until the 80s. No, late 70s. I did not know. I did not know. And I had watched Hard Day's Night, I had watched Help, and I had watched uh, Magical Mystery Tour, all of this stuff, and did not make the connection until much later in life. Um, I was not musically eloquent until the mid 70s. And at that time, it was discovering Black Sabbath that actually got me into thinking, that music between scenes and Scooby Doo is pretty good. To going, hey, some of this stuff on the radio is actually very insightful.
And then you found out that the only reason why Black Sabbath existed was because Ozzy Osbourne thought A Hard Day's Night was the best thing in the world, and that got him into wanting to go into playing music and composing songs.
No, I never knew that.
And now you do.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh yeah, you can look it up anywhere.
Believe it, but I'll take your word for it.
This Bicentennial Minute has been brought to you by Ozzy Osbourne and his headless bat. Okay, real quick, the one voice of a singer that I cannot stand, that is nails on the chalkboard, is Axl Rose. This is my Axl Rose impersonation.
That's Ozzy and Crazy Train.
Oh well. He's a little bit more eloquent in Crazy Train.
Yeah, really. Ozzy can actually pronounce things.
Yeah, sort of. I love Slash from Guns N' Roses. He's a very talented guitar player, and he's a real cool guy, but Axl Rose, I just thought he was a douche.
How I get my youngest attention is I tell she who shall not be named, otherwise she'll start talking our favorite spy from Mr. Bezos. I'll tell her to play Sweet Child of Mine on Crow's Room. So,
you evil person, you. It could be where she could...
Say that again.
You could be telling her to play The Doors' "This Is the End," which might give her ideas.
That thing.
A certain friend of ours who tends to interrupt the show if we say her name, I tell her to play "Sweet Child of Mine" on Crow's Room, which Crow's Room is the name of the device that is in my youngest.
Oh, okay.
So we've got one in our bedroom. We've got one in the office. We've got one in the living room. We've got one in the kitchen, one in the hallway, and one in Crow's Room.
I thought you said crow's foot.
That will also take over a Fire Stick, right?
We don't have any Fire Sticks yet. We've been thinking about them, but we've had more important things to buy.
Yeah, I can make an announcement to the house and piss everybody off.
I'm sure
I'll do that through the app on the phone. Sometimes I'll be driving, I'll be stuck at a stoplight, and I'll just do a announcement for the house. And what the hell? What's going
on? Yes, folks, this is the kind of random conversations that actually occur at conventions. We are true to form, despite the solemnity of the earlier content. It is still something that would actually happen at an actual convention if we were actually there in the actual flesh, actually.
The names and places have been changed to protect the innocent, or not.
What innocence?
The Age of Innocence by Dan Fogelberg. A Champaign, Illinois native.
Okay, yeah. Now I've got that stuck in my head. Thank you, Bill. That's okay. It'll be drowned out later on by Spirit in the Sky or something equally abstruse. Lindsay swears that's my theme song. I do too. Steel, which is not to be confused with the very vital implement in hillbilly technology, but these things, they happen. Why does Peoria claim Dan Vogelberg?
I don't know
You
why.
suggest they would claim.
Maybe he was born there and grew up in Champaign, or vice versa. But I know on WKIO out of Champaign, Illinois, every Sunday night they have this program for an hour called Homegrown KIO, where it's all the groups that came out of Champaign, most of them being just only local groups that the people back in the days in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, if you went to Mabel's and you saw Star Castle, and my mentor, who was a big inspiration for me to play bass guitar, was in that group. But every once in a while you'll hear songs by REO Speedwagon and by Dan Fogelberg and by Alison Krauss and Union Station and things of that nature as well. And of course the group called Champaign that had that. They actually was not a one-hit wonder. They had How About Us that came out, which is a very R&B song. But they did have a second single that made them one step above a one-hit wonder, and I cannot think of the name of the second single. But
There was something that just hit my mind, and now I can't put it into words. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, something's just hit my mind that I can't put into words, so I'll be right back. It involves a trip down the hall.
I knew that's where he was going with that.
One would hope. In this neighborhood, it might involve a trip to the back porch, but no, I don't have a back porch, so I can't do that.
I introduced my little sister to the group, the Electric Amish, today. She's all about Amish people and how simplified their lives are and everything. And this is, which I'm sure Rich probably knows of, the Bob and Tom show that's syndicated in the mornings. It's they just joke around and laugh at each other's jokes mostly, which is kind of irritating. But every once in a while, they'll have a very good comedian or group on there. And the Electric Amish are basically, they do pretty much like what Weird Al Yankovic does to popular songs, but they did it before Weird Al. And so they take songs like, and they always kind of put it in a phase that involves either Amish people or Mennonites. And they don't have very many good things to say about Mennonites. But like they'll take Leonard Skinner, Give Me Three Steps, and they change it over to Give Me Three Pigs. Sweet Home Alabama is Sweet Home Indiana. We're American Band is we're Amish Band, and on and on and on.
Barn to be Wild.
Barn to be Wild.
Barn to be Wild. Yep, that's another one. And they actually came out with albums and they toured for a while. I don't know if they still do or not, but I know they did back in the late 90s. I had one of their cassettes, and the cover of it looked like A Hard Day's Night. So it's the red cover where you would have the 4 pictures of the Beatles, 2 above and 2 below, but you only saw from the nose up. Hard Day's Work, yeah. So there's only 3 members in the Electric Armies. So 3 of the pictures, you've seen them from here on up. The 4th one was their mule. But they would stop mid-drift through one of their songs and tell a Mennonite joke. And it was, like I said, never...
What if
it was
Tom
all
was
in pure
one of
fun,
us?
but... Yeah, when Tom was one of us, that went to the tune...
What if God was one of us?
I can't... What if God was one of us, yeah.
Something Osborne. I don't remember her first name.
I can't think of it either. But the Tom reference is Tom from Bob and Tom.
Proud Greta, rolling in my buggy.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I have to check these out later.
They are very entertaining. And you can find YouTube videos of them playing their music. Typically, they're on the Bob and Tom. And
I wish you hadn't done that. I wish you hadn't done that. Rich, have you ever heard of MC Hawking? Now you're going to look it up and you're going to go, damn you. Basically, the lead singer uses the artificial voice, the same artificial voice that Stephen Hawking used. And he's a rapper.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. It's...
Dan, you sick son of a bitch.
It's awesome, and it's really...
It's fun, but it's wrong. But it's so wrong, you got to say it differently. It's not wrong, it's wrong.
All my shootings be drive-bys.
Bitch slap? F the creationists?
That's kind of boring, but all my shootings be drive-bys is the one that actually hit the radio, I do believe.
E equals MC Hawking?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
Let me put Bill back on here because Joe Dog is not here.
Apologize, my Wi-Fi is wonky tonight. And my sinuses are even more wonky.
Wasn't that a Travis Tritt song? My Wi-Fi is wonky tonight. No, it would have been somebody older than Travis.
Just don't get wonky with a donkey.
Don't think that temptation has ever crossed my mind, and don't think it ever will.
Donna's writing it down for a hashtag right now, I bet.
I don't think Donna does hashtags for this show, but might be a good habit to get into.
Why not?
Okay.
Oh, I wish I could shut the faucet off in my head so my sinuses would stop draining. I'm actually going to see a specialist first week of November. And I'm wanting to find out if there is, even though I've never been allergic to anything in my life, they say you can get allergies later in life.
Allergies, yes. My sister used to not be allergic to red dye number 2, yellow dye, whatever the number is, and a bunch of other things. She used to be able to eat and drink anything. Now she's got all kinds of dietary restrictions she has to obey. She used to be, she wasn't lactose intolerant. Now she is. It's just like when she hit 35 or 40, her metabolism went through an enormous change, which if you had known my sister before, you'd say, hey, nothing bothers this girl. Now, there's a short list of things that doesn't bother this girl. Seriously, and she hates it. I mean, she's an incredible cook, and she can't eat half the things that she used to cook. So, well, let's be glad that word has 4 meanings. Believe me, if it were the 3rd, I would probably be even more popular in the green room than I already am. No breaks.
And
no
I'm
breaks.
back.
Save
What
us,
did
Joe
y'all
Dog.
do?
Save us, Joe Dog.
What did you do? Dan?
Save us, Joe Dog, you're our only hope. Save us, Joe Dog, you're our only hope.
Do? Let me rephrase. Rich, what did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Damn it, Bill.
But
Call the roll, Joe Dog.
because of eBay,
When the
might
cat's
be getting
away.
an inflatable donkey coming soon.
Oh,
Apparently, there's only a slight leak in the left flank. Only used once.
Well, hey, I'm not afraid to show my ass on this show.
I used to work in a magic shop. And
boy, that's a wonky looking donkey if I ever saw one.
In the magic shop, besides magic and gag gifts and pranks and stuff like that, we had an adult section.
Yep. As you do.
We had a bunch of frat boys wanting to return an inflatable sheep that they had purchased.
No.
Sorry, this has been used and not correctly.
Exact.
And you didn't clean it.
The craziest one ever. Any of the adult toys that we sold, if the box was unopened, we would take the return. If the box has been opened, we wouldn't take the return. Little old lady, like 80 years old, bought the top of the line Black & Decker model and brought it back because it broke. I am still scarred from that.
Wasn't because she forgot to put the batteries in the right way round. It broke.
It broke.
So talking about adult things, what do you people think about the adult kids meals or at McDonald's? And they say with adult toys. So
that is an image I did not want in my head. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, so basically They're McDonald Land characters. They're McDonald Land characters with 3 eyes on each side of their head.
No, don't try and save it. You had something else in mind, you filthy beast.
Hey,
I was walking on the edge. My foot did not leave the edge for 1 minute.
I have seen the
I
images.
leapt over that edge.
Did you see him?
I've seen the images. Yes.
The
I'm
boy
not
is
too.
looking back at me and going, Bill was here first.
Hey, I was disturbed at the grimace butt plug. That's all I'm going to say.
And it had 3 eyes too. No, I'm trying to think of what they look like.
Don't do this on Thursday night. Do it on Friday night.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, the Ronald McDonald is downright disgusting.
Oh, they're
Especially-
creepy.
Especially where the fries are placed.
2 shots. Oh, Lord.
There was a British sculptor that did a Christmas tree, which
I bet she
everybody
was
recognized
pissed.
immediately. No, Lord. Lord.
I have not consumed.
Donna, I'm afraid to ask. Either explain it or don't, depending on whether or not you think our audience would complain. Oh dear. Bill, you naughty boy.
That is disturbing as
Mm-hmm.
all get out.
What? Are you looking at them now?
Yes.
Now you
Yeah,
understand what I'm talking about.
Put them up on the screen for everybody to see.
And
You didn't.
No.
You didn't look up the British Christmas tree sculpture. Thank goodness. Only Paul Bunyan needs one that big.
It really does look like Grimace could be used for that.
He always looked like he could be used for that.
That's exactly what my mind went when he said, you know? Dear God.
God. Look. I'm sorry. We're weird. Don't report us. We're trying to reform.
No, we're not.
Shh. They'll hear you. Oh, Lord.
You all right, Bill or Rich?
You want fries with that?
Rich is in shock.
Somebody stop.
No, I made the joke and I looked up that and going down through there really is one.
Mhm.
It's
Believe me.
like Big Macs and adult size French fries and all that, and it comes in a Happy Meal box. I said kids meal, that's Wendy's or whatever, but it comes in a Happy Meal box, but it's for frickin' adults. And then it has, they say, and there are adult toys in it, and that is how they phrased it when they were talking about it on the news yesterday. And then they show these hideous McDonald Land characters that got zapped by aliens or whatever, and they grew 2 extra eyes on each side of their head.
Damn it! Don't
Hey,
give
at
me
least
straight
it is-
lines.
Hey, at
Don't
least
give me
it-
straight
it-
lines.
Hey,
Yeah,
at least
freaking
it is-
adults is literal. Yeah.
Dan, at least it isn't one-eyed toys.
Well, the actual thing I was trying to drive out of my head was something that would have fit Grimace quite well in no matter what incarnation, but it's
That
not
was a
after
hell of a
midnight
grimace you
yet.
had on your face.
Oh Lord,
It's midnight somewhere.
yeah, somewhere, but not in the Bible Belt.
I am truly disturbed that there actually is one of those.
You're probably more disturbed because you know exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If it's
And
what
now
I
that
said earlier,
Hey, and
then
now that
yeah,
we got everybody thinking about it,
God.
that's Carl.
Now Dan's brain just fell out onto the floor.
No, my brain is still intact. I'm just trying to seal it up before my mouth gets a hold of what my brain is thinking. Do you know how hard it is to break that connection?
yes.
Yes. You and I are an awful lot alike, young man. Ah, which you have
We
remarked
operate on
upon.
similar frequencies.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, you can call it that. Uh,
Dear God.
Lord have mercy if we're ever live in the same room, the world may not survive, or at least it'll giggle itself to death.
That could happen.
Ah,
Actually,
it will.
Thursday night.
It will happen next year unless Rich is coming to a fortune.
I truly
Yeah.
hope what I'm putting in private chat was Photoshop.
I can't read all that.
Nope, it's not.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'm going to hell.
For those of you who cannot access private chat, Rich just posted a link in private chat. That's the link to War and Peace.
Of course,
Believe
Carrie
me,
just
War and Peace
changed
would
it.
be War and Peace would be much more bearable.
Oh.
Mhm.
Did you see that, Rich?
Fruit salad by the Wiggles.
Were they the
No.
group all dressed up in Star Trek uniforms?
It looked very much like it, yeah.
Carl,
That's what I thought.
no.
Thankfully, my child.
Neither Rich nor I are broken. We're just bent and twisted. Just the way everybody likes us.
They're broken, Carl.
No.
It didn't break us. It just took off one of the governors.
Oh.
The timing
How am I
belt
supposed to
slipped,
do last man
Carl.
standing with this stuff going on in the back of my mind? Oh.
Dan, that's it. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm having a senior moment," now the new one is, "Oh, my timing belt just slipped again."
No, my paradigm just slipped without a clutch. I mean, shifted without a clutch. Good grief. That awesome little popping noise that the entire universe just heard. Yeah, that was me. Jesus Christos, make the ganglia twitch. Oh, Lord.
That is.
Saved by the sock puppet.
Saved by the Fawns.
That'll be the day. To comply with Carl's hearing a grinding sound, can we take it down a notch? Or is that impossible at this time? Oh, believe me, Donna, if this had been the green room, we'd have been having to call an ambulance for you. Oh. You would not be able to stop laughing. And just because the mental images have crossed my mind, I'm struggling.
Well, surely don't click that link that Rich had then.
While we're on this stuff, does everyone or does anyone know the TV show for young kids called Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yep.
I have heard of it.
I love the birthday song.
Most of the monsters on the show look like bizarre adult toys.
Yes, Carl, there will be an LMS tonight. Believe me.
Will it be full length or just the shortened version?
It'll be full length. I don't have to go back to work until Saturday night.
Ah, okay.
So, full length Last Man Standing tonight.
There's a hashtag.
Green room, as soon as I get in there will be no appearance by me Saturday night, Stupid O'Clock or Last Man Standing. No.
Did you hear that, Donna? It's going to be full length.
Actually, I got to get Kenton right here.
Full length of Dan. Okay. Yeah,
That's what she
said. That.
It's not something many people look forward to, but, your mileage may vary. Preschool shows? Oh, okay.
No. I did not love the preschool show. It highly annoyed the hell out of me. But my child watched it.
Did anybody else think the girl from Romper Room was really hot?
The girl from Yo Gabba Gabba was hot. She kind of reminds you of a cross between Debbie Harry and I can't think of her name, that sang the song from the first Top Gun movie, I think it was.
Yeah, Dan, you need to start getting everything ready.
Yeah, I do. Well, it's ready to go. All I got to do is click the button.
Okay. Well, I've got to the point where I've got to click this button. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Rich, Dan, Bill.
Y'all got the link?
Sorry for breaking people.
Yeah. You may have to share it with them. I don't know. We'll see all of y'all Saturday night. Good night, everybody.
Vaya con Dios.
Slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased a shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, the long, delirious, burning blue. I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run. B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run. All you need is a 10 and a 5, car and a key and a sober driver. B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run. Yeah!